So I do the introduction. Hello, welcome again to ArtSphere Live, Cooking Made Easy. I'm Alice. I'd like to thank you for watching my sharing. Well, before I start, perhaps you would like to share this with your friends so that they can also learn some quick recipe, okay? My recipes are so easy that it will actually save you a lot of time, and yet it is very nutritious because all the ingredients there are fresh and very easy to find and very easy to prepare, okay? So I'm also going to do my sharing now. So will you please do it as well, okay? I see you in a little while, yeah? Oh yes, by the way, today I'm doing pumpkin stew with beef stew with pumpkin, okay? I'll tell you again more, huh? Okay, right. Okay, what I have in my pot today. Okay, now if you know today is 31st of October, a lot of people are celebrating Halloween, right? So I noticed there's a lot of pumpkin in the supermarket. So I thought, why not I just do something where you all can use up your pumpkin after you have your fun, okay? Actually, the people in states they celebrate Halloween and Thanksgiving. They use pumpkin also. So this recipe is very simple. This time around I use beef because beef has got a very nice flavor by itself. Okay, so I will start sharing with you the ingredients first. Why? Because this recipe is so simple. What I did was I just throw everything into the pot and then I set to pressure, and now it's cooking ready. Because for this round, I'm actually ensuring that my beef is very tender. So I'm pressurizing it for 1.5 hours. Okay. So while it is cooking, I just go through with you the ingredients, right? Okay. Now, of course, the first ingredient I want to introduce to you is the beef. Okay. I wanted to I wanted to bring the beef to show you what kind of beef that I've got, but I think it was a little bit messy. So I decided that I will just show you the picture, okay? I have a picture of the shin beef. The shin beef is actually the muscle meat from the calf area, okay? I like to use shin beef because in the market when I buy it, the Malay man call it the jelly beef, okay? So this jelly is very important. Why? Because when you cook it, it's actually like the tendon. When you cook it, it's actually very soft. So when you bite into the beef, okay, it's very smooth. Okay, versus some other parts like the brisket, sometimes it's a little bit dry lah. So I always use shin beef for my recipe. Okay, and also sometimes when you use like a brisket or that, they normally will tell you to score it a bit, to seal in the juices. But I find that since my recipe is made easy, so I just throw everything into the pot, even without searing the beef. Okay, and yet it still come out, the beef still come out very tender. Okay, so the beef that comes is actually one long slab. If you can see the picture, okay, you cut it into big chunks because after cooking, I realized the beef, the chunks all become half the size. Okay, so when you cut it big, you still can find the beef pieces inside. Otherwise, you just stir and stir, you only find beef shreds inside. Okay, so remember, cut it big. And of course, the end part, okay, you can see the picture. The end part, you keep it a little bit longer, okay, to compensate for the size. Otherwise, it will shrink too small. Okay, so that's for beef. Then the next ingredient is the pumpkin. Okay, now the pumpkin that they use in Halloween carving, those are um, has got less flesh, so that's why it's easy for them to carve. And also the taste is not as sweet. So for cooking, but if you want to cook it, of course, you still can do it. Okay, but for my home, I always like to use the regular pumpkin. You can see the flesh is much thicker. Okay, and it's sweeter, right? Okay, so for pumpkin, from my experience, when I cut it into small pieces, okay, like I managed managed to, I kept this for you to show you. Okay, when I cut it in small pieces, okay, I find that by the time my stew is done, they already dissolve and melt down already, okay? So I can't find them. So I decided to cut to bigger pieces, okay? And then guess what happened? Because I pressurized it for 1.5 hours, in the end, I still can't find my pumpkin, okay? So experience tells, yeah? So what I do is I do my stew first for the first hour, then towards the last 30 minutes only, then I put the pumpkin in. So later, you will be able to see some pumpkin inside, okay? So remember, try to cut it a bit bigger because pumpkin cooks very easily. All right, I think in 20 minutes, really very soft, okay? So remember, cut it into big pieces, yeah? All right? Okay, so that's for pumpkin. This stew can use a variety of vegetables. When I actually do the research, there's so much to put it in. So my pot has a limit. So I just show you some of the things that I have put inside here, okay? Besides the pumpkin, the mains, carrot is always something to go with all the stew. Every time, like even ABC soup also we use carrot potato, right? So remember the last time I mentioned, my mom told me the good carrots are V-shaped, yeah? So I managed to get some this time, okay? They are very sweet, yeah? Then the next thing, of course, like I mentioned, is potato. So this time now, I bought this baby potato and I put it in with the skin, okay? Sometimes it's very small, you don't have to cut them. You just put them whole, okay? But if it's a little bit bigger, because you buy one bag, you get different sizes, right? The bigger ones, my daughter say for me, okay? So the bigger ones, you just cut them into two, yeah? Okay? So the small ones can just go as they are, okay? So that's for potatoes, right? Okay, what's next? Chili. Okay, this is also called pepper, red pepper, also called capsicum. In some places they call it 灯笼椒 or red chili, but I have used one red and one green. You can have the yellow variety also, but I thought I have a lot of yellow, so I will just use the red and green. Again, these two, you just cut them. By the way, I've already washed all my vegetables. Okay, you cut them into two, and then you take out the seeds. Okay, very simple, right? Okay. Right, and then we cut it into big pieces as well, okay, so that we don't lose them. Because capsicum cook very fast. So my first experience was, I cannot find my capsicum. So this time around, my capsicum goes in later with the pumpkin, yeah? So you cut them into big pieces because they will soften, all right? So that's for capsicum. Right, just throw it into the pot, right? Then the next one we do is the same with the green capsicum, right? So just cut into two, okay? Then the next thing I use is tomato. This tomato is so big, it actually looks like a pumpkin also. That's why I kept the size to show you. Like baby pumpkin, right? Okay. This time now I use 4 of these big tomatoes. Okay, if you use smaller ones, then maybe you use more. Okay, the reason why I like to use tomato is because in this pot of stew here, I didn't use any water at all. So all this vegetable juice will form the sauces of the stew. Okay, so as usual, tomatoes you actually can just cut them big because they will disintegrate and then become the sauce. Okay, no need to show you how to cut lah. Just anyhow cut. Okay. Right, so the next thing I like to use is a leek. Okay, leek you just you can use this is the Japanese leek. Okay, the Chinese leek like the one which we use for Chinese New Year, the swan, the one is more pungent. Okay, so this one is good enough, and as usual, cut it really big, yeah, so that it will disintegrate later. If you really want to have them later, you want to find them, you just cut them big. Okay. So what else? Oh yes, I have never tried putting cucumber in stew, but it was in one of the recipes that I researched. Okay, so cucumber, I use the Japanese one because it's got no seed. You can use 2 or 3 because it's a very nice texture to bite it. Okay, it's very soft. Or you can use squash. Okay, yellow squash. All right. So as usual, you just cut. Actually, I like to eat the Japanese cucumber just as it is. It is very good, especially when people are doing weight watching. Okay. So I cut it into big chunk, right? And as usual, when I cut, I always tao jia. So sweet and refreshing. Mmm. Okay. Next. Okay. I have shared with you most of the bigger ingredients. So now what I did was, as usual, when you start cooking something, you normally have garlic and onion, yeah? So garlic, okay? What I do was I put some oil and then I xiang the garlic and the onion first. Then after that, I throw everything in, okay? So you can use 2 to 4 cloves of garlic, depending on how big they are. Trust me, this is an added fragrance to the stew. And you don't need to chop them up. All you have to do is just press on it, okay? When you press, the skin will come apart. So you just remove the skin, okay? Right. And if you want to, you can cut away the stalk, okay? Cut away the stalk. Right. So after that, what you do? Just throw inside the pot, okay? Throw inside the pot, huh? Right. So the onion, how small you cut, you just cut them into small pieces. Anyway, after you fry them, they are softened and then you won't see them anymore, right? You can cut, if you're in a hurry, just cut them into big chunks and just throw it in, okay? So this recipe is very simple. Everything is just cut, wash, cut, and throw, okay? Right, what else? The herbs. We have a choice, okay? We can use dried herbs or we can use fresh herbs. Of course, if you can buy fresh herb, this is really young. This is rosemary. You can smell it, okay? Yeah. Or if you really can't find them, let's say if you forget to buy. So at home you definitely will have some of these spices at home, So you can always just take any of them. Okay, like for example, I have one that's called mixed herb. Mixed herb means everything is inside there. So it's easy, right? No need to crack your head, right? And I also have some crushed red pepper. Okay, talking about red pepper, in the West, what they like to do is they will put paprika inside, so the soup will be spicy. Okay, if you like, I told my girls, I say, I'm not going to do the whole pot with the chili flakes or chili powder, but you can always add it into your individual bowl. Good, right? So you can have the best of both worlds, yeah? Because some people don't take chili, yeah? So you can use the bottled ones, okay? So how much to put? Agak lah, correct. So you just pour some inside, okay, on top of your ingredients. And then after that, what do I do? Yeah, besides this rosemary, I have bought some fresh Italian parsley, okay? They got mixed up here, all right? Okay. Yes, okay. What's the difference, okay? This is my usual parsley that I remember I told y'all when y'all make soup, y'all can always keep the root and then throw it inside, right? Okay, so now they look alike, okay, but the taste is different. Okay, the Italian parsley actually tastes like, when you go for a wedding dinner, there's this garnish. Yeah, it tastes like that. You can also use that, chop it up. Or if you don't need no time to chop, just take the whole bunch and throw it in, okay? So what I did was my coriander with the root, I just wash them clean and then I just throw them inside the pot, okay? Yours is cooking made easy, yeah? Okay, so no need to chop lah, huh? Everything just make it fast and simple because, right, we are all such busy people, okay? We need to save time, yeah? Okay, So almost ingredient almost done, yeah? Okay, next, the most important one. My children ask me, say, Mommy, can we use the Chinese cooking wine? Okay? Can now. Wine is wine, right? Okay. Now, at first, the first try I did Chinese cooking wine. It came out okay. You don't taste any difference as you use other kind of wine. Okay. But then again, of course, I went to look into the supermarket, and I found red cooking wine. Okay. I must tell you, this is cooking wine. Okay. This is about, I got it from FairPrice. It's about 10.50. Okay. When I went to the wine section, okay, I look at all the wine, 20 over, 30 over, the lowest one is actually 20 something. So I asked myself, do I want to use those wine for cooking? Okay, if you are drinking, okay, and you have leftover, yes, that's the time you use your leftover wine to cook your stew. But if you're not a drinker like me, okay, when I need to do cooking, I will just go for this cooking wine. Okay, don't sayang, okay? So it's entirely up to you what wine you want to use, okay? And also for my other stew, I have used this thing called extra stout. I will open one can of beer and I just pour it in. The flavor come out is just as good. All right. So comes to the liquid ingredients, the herbs, all that, all done ready. Okay. So what is left next? Open the pot. Right. We see what comes out after 1.5 hours. Yeah. Okay. Right. I release the pressure first. Otherwise, I cannot open the pot because it's a safety feature. Right. Okay. Ready. Can you all smell it? Wow, look at that. Yeah, this is the one, okay? Where I still can see my pumpkin and my capsicum, okay? Now, ready? I show you what's at the bottom, right? You see the beef pieces? Okay, now, I forgot to tell you, when I do the stew for the first time, I actually put in the pumpkin as well so that the pumpkin will be softened and then it becomes part of the sauce. So when I want to see the pumpkin, I added the other half later. Okay, so you can see my sauce is actually very rich and it's full. It's all natural ingredients. I didn't add any of the artificial things. No MSG in my cooking. Okay. In fact, in my house, I don't allow MSG. But after my ex-mate left, we found something hidden. That's why sometimes we don't know why the food tastes so different. Okay, right. Here, this is the beef. Right, can I plate it for you to see, okay? So give it a quick stir, and of course, I forgot to tell you, the last thing you want to add in is salt. Why? The seasoning of the beef, I just rub some salt in it, and then I leave it for 1 hour to 2 hours. But sometimes the flavor, remember I told you, salt will give it a deeper flavor. Okay, so I will just add in about 1 teaspoon of salt. Agar here, right? And please remember, when you want to pour something from the bottle into the pot, don't pour straight into the pot. The tip is pour it onto the ladle. Okay. So if you pour too much because your hand a bit strong, you can always throw some away, right? Put it in the bowl. But if you pour it straight into the pot, I think it's a bit too late to save it. Okay, so now just put some and then I will mix together and then spread it over. Okay, just a little bit more. When I first cook it, I didn't put in the salt. It's just that something is missing somewhere. Okay, so put in the salt and then you taste it. Right, and then of course the next thing I do is I put a little sugar to 调味, right? This is to balance up. Very little. Okay. You find that sometimes when you just put salt alone, something is missing. And then when you cook dessert, you just put sugar alone, something is also missing. The depth of the flavor is what we are looking for. All right, let me give it a stir. And also, since I cook with alcohol, with wine, so people are concerned with the alcohol content, right? So remember, when I release the pressure, the alcohol would have escaped. And also, if you are really feeling so unsafe, what you can do is just give it, I put this on the stir fry mode and just let it boil for a while if you want to feel safer. Okay? Right. Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah, this is a very balanced meal. Why? Show you in a while. Look at that. See? It's very tender. Look at that. I can't even lift it up with my chopstick. See? It's so soft, right? This is the texture that I like for my beef stew. And of course, remember I put in my coriander. So you don't want to serve them, you just put them aside, okay? Now you can see the potato and the carrot and the capsicum, yeah? And this is the pumpkin. You see, even then the pumpkin also, I cut so big, also getting lost inside the stew already. Okay, you can see the stew is bubbling now for those who are concerned about the alcohol in the stew, yeah? But I think the Amor just love it. Okay. It's a balanced diet because here we have potatoes, pumpkin, we have vegetables and carbo inside as well. The bowl is getting heavy. Okay. Let me just pick the beef out to show you. So I use the ladle because the beef is breaking up. You can see, wow. Potato one side. Oh, I tried to arrange the beef on top, but it broke. So it becomes smaller pieces. Okay, so sorry about that. Can't show you much about that. The pumpkin. Okay, this is the pumpkin, yeah. The pumpkin and the potatoes, they all look alike inside the stew. All right. Okay, off the power. The stew is done. Okay. Now, what to eat this with? Yeah, let me just garnish it a bit first. Remember, I like to use pluck my coriander to, instead of chopping them up. Okay. So this is the beef stew that I have prepared for you. Now, the next thing is you can eat with rice, the normal one, right? The rice. If I didn't cook so much, such a big pot, I would have cooked my rice on top. Remember the equal too. Yeah, but today, I'm the kind that everything put a bit more on. Okay, my sister will always overdo. So I will cook the rice separately in this Nosa pot only for 7 minutes. Okay, it's very fast. And the other thing is, you can eat the beef with Zhang Hao Lodi. Yeah. Right. Again, you slice them out, yeah? Remember the last time I thought the right tool will help you to do work easier. So if you try to use the normal knife to cut your bread, you will find that they are all squashed up, okay? Because, okay, the normal knife will not cut so well. You have to squeeze, and then in the end, the bread becomes flattened, okay? So what I do is I use a serrated knife, okay? Then it cuts easier. Look at that. And this is my favorite roti. It's very, very fragrant. And when you cut against the grain, so you have a design on your bread. That's what I learned from my sister. The recipe is so easy. I didn't get to show you very much things because everything is just wash, cut, and throw, yeah? And also, I always tell you how much to put is entirely up to you. I may put there like 2 carrots, 4 tomatoes, or that. But then again, if you like more of something, please be free, okay? And also, you are free to add in any other vegetables. You can add in marrows also. There's actually no hard and fast rule, yeah? All right. Okay. So just cut up the whole roll and then you can dip it into the sauce. And yes, okay. Some people would like to add some flour inside to thicken. Okay. I'm trying to cut off the carbo there. So I mean it's not very much though, but I prefer my things not so sticky. Okay. So if you like to thicken it a bit, you can always add some flour. Otherwise, what you can do is you can put more pumpkin. So when the pumpkin becomes softened and then inside the stew, your stew also will become very rich, not so watery. Yeah. Okay. So now, right. Okay. So that's my sharing for today. Right. My beef stew with pumpkin. Okay. Please go and try and let me know how easy it is. All right. Thank you, and I see you 2 weeks time. Next time I will do vegetable. Okay, I have done chicken meat and everything already. So the next time I will do a duck thai. All right. So see you the next session, and also for next week I'm actually doing a t-shirt cutting session. That'll be on a Sunday. Okay. See you. Bye bye.